Hello, and welcome to Hooked on True Crime podcast, where we unravel the clues, tie up the loose ends, and when no victim becomes a footnote to somebody else's story with your host, Ali Downey.
And Sarah Downey.
Hello, Ali Downey.
Hello, Sarah Downey.
I am so hot.
It is sweltering right now. We are in the midst of a heat wave.
We are. Hopefully it'll be ending soon, but right
Better
now,
end soon.
in this room, we have waited till midnight to record this.
Yeah.
And it's still absolutely baking in this room, and because we can't have the fan on, because otherwise you probably wouldn't hear us very well.
Yeah,
So.
over the...
But at least this time we have remembered to put on the microphone.
Yeah, that was a bugger last week.
Yes, it was annoying last week. So sorry about the quality of the sound last week, because we were going to re-record it and then had so much trouble uploading it in the first place. We thought as soon as it was uploaded, we're going to put it out.
Yeah.
So apologies, we tried our best, but it should be a lot better this time.
Woo!
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What else have we been up to this week?
What have we been up to this week? I haven't done a lot.
Well,
it's been so hot.
I cut down some tree.
Oh, you did, yes. I think we put it on social media about you cutting down the tree. If you haven't seen it, give us a shout and I can put it up somewhere else. But
I mean, I could roll the footage right now.
You could roll the footage. You should roll the end of the footage because that's the funny bit.
Okay, roll the footage. Editing alley has to do that now.
Yeah, you do. Good luck. Someone please send help. My husband up in the tree in silk pajama bottoms and a summer shirt and a hat. This is not protective gear, is it? What a plonk. Oh, Jesus. I can't even watch. Oh, don't like it. I don't like it. The tree is dying. It's a very big tree, though. I think he's going to have trouble. Mindy, it's okay. Might be a little bit wee for that.
I'm not tall enough.
Oh, you need a big stick. I wonder where you get one of them from. I think that's successful.
Oh, carry big tree.
Oh.
Heavier at the back than I thought it was.
Anyway, what have you got for me this week, Abby?
Well, this week we will technically be continuing our look into the life and cases of the forensic pathologist Sir Sidney Smith.
Yes.
I say technically. No more ballistics. I will caveat that with technically, though, because as often happens, I got very distracted this week while researching, and as a result, there will be very little Sidney Smith in this episode.
But lots of crime.
Lots of crime, yeah. But I'm sorry if you're excited about discussing some serious scientific forensics.
No, I'm okay. It's too hot for that.
But yeah,
for that seriousness.
The operating system that runs my brain has taken us down a different path today.
Excellent.
Don't worry, though, because the story and the crimes, I think, are fascinating. So sit back and get ready for a roller coaster of a case as we head over to Australia for today's episode.
Excellent. Now, tell me, was it one of the dangerous animals that live in Australia that did it?
No. But one is involved.
Ooh.
On the 17th of April, 1935, two brothers, Bert and Charles Hobson, went fishing from a boat off the coast of New South Wales. Bert got a bite on his line and quickly realised he'd caught a sort of small to medium-sized shark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how often that happens when you're in Australia. I suppose you get little baby sharks all the time.
Yeah. Now, Charles got a net with the intent of lifting the wee shark into the boat to see what species of shark the little guy was. However, just as Charles leaned out to scoop the small shark out of the water, it was suddenly eaten itself by a much, much larger shark.
Oh, damn.
A 14-foot long, 2,200-pound tiger shark.
Wow. 14 foot.
That's a serious shark.
Big shark. So that's like the size of, I was trying to put it to a vehicle size, in length.
That's like 4 meters. So you're talking as long as a
A
people
small
carrier,
bus. Yeah,
small
small
bus,
bus.
yeah, mini bus length at least.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. But the brothers were immensely happy about this.
I've never seen a tiger shark. Pretty cool.
No, they were glad that they'd caught it.
Oh, so it stayed on the line with the smaller shark.
Yeah. They had a very strong tensile line, obviously, because the big shark ate the wee shark and the line was still in the wee shark. So now they had the big shark on the line.
Are they going to eat him?
No, they ran an aquarium in the nearby seaside town of Coogee.
Oh, this is very lucky for them then. Very unlucky for the tiger shark.
Coogee was actually named after an Aboriginal word meaning stinking place.
Does it stink?
Well, apparently there was a prevailing smell of rotting seaweed about the place.
It's very close to the sea, so
Yeah.
what do you expect?
So Bert and Charles dragged the massive tiger shark back to their aquarium and immediately put him on display in a big tank for residents and tourists to come and look at.
That upsets me. It's never a big enough tank, unfortunately.
That's true, it wasn't. The brothers assumed that the tiger shark would be a great attraction, since the area was gripped in shark fever at the time after 3 young men had been killed by sharks off New South Wales in the past sort of 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And the tiger shark was indeed a popular attraction.
Okay, good.
It was
Well,
not
not for the shark, but good for them.
No, but it was not, however, a particularly exciting attraction or a particularly happy shark. For a week, it just swam sedately around in its tank, not even showing any interest in the food which was dropped into the water.
Oh, depressed.
It is depressed, but this actually isn't unusual. When a wild shark is placed in a captive tank, the stress of the transition often disrupts or suspends the animal's digestive process. So it was probably off its food anyway. Or maybe something else had upset its stomach.
Well, a small little shark.
Well, the brothers hoped that the tiger shark would be a bit more lively on the 25th of April.
Why?
Because
Why
it
is
was,
that day?
it was a public holiday. It was Anzac Day. It was a World War One
Yeah.
remembrance public
But
holiday.
everybody's got the day off and they're all going to come down to the aquarium and see the new
Exactly.
shark.
There would hopefully be crowds of people at the aquarium. And the brothers would not be disappointed. But they should have been more careful what they wished for. On Anzac Day, the tiger shark was indeed a bit more lively.
Oh.
But then, around 4 p.m., in front of a huge crowd of onlookers, which included a few reporters who had come to report on the huge tiger shark because it was a slow news day, apparently.
Mm-hmm. It's going to turn into Jaws, isn't it? The film.
The tiger went berserk. It began thrashing around in its pool, splashing and frothing the water, until eventually it was violently sick.
Whoa.
The shark regurgitated, first, a foul-smelling brown liquid, which was presumably its digestive fluid, then a small length of rope, a rat, a bird, and finally, a human arm.
Oh dear. I know it's not funny, but it did sound like you were going to do that. I know another woman who followed
I don't know why she swallowed a fly.
she will die. Okay, so what we've got a rat, a bird, an arm.
And a length of rope. The rat and the bird don't really matter.
No. And I thought you were going to say it's going to turn into Jaws the film and he's going to start like attacking his keepers and
No.
stuff.
No.
But okay, so he's swallowed an arm, but I'm thinking because you're telling me this in a true crime podcast, he's not the one that attacked the person and took the arm.
The shark did not kill this person.
Mm.
The arm was fished out of the shark pool and the police were called. The arm, which was a left arm, had been severed at the shoulder joint, and it was remarkably well preserved, given that it had been inside a tiger shark for over a week.
This tiger shark had come from the sea, right?
Yes.
So where's he getting a rat from?
The rat and the bird had probably fallen into the pool once it had been caught.
Oh,
and it
okay.
just swallowed them.
Had fallen into the pool?
Yeah, rat climbs into the pool at night, shark eats rat.
I could kind of understand him getting hold of a bird in the sea, but a rat in the sea, unless it's been poisoned and thrown in with the arm.
No, the rat probably came from the aquarium.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The preservation of the arm could be explained by the suspension of the shark's digestive process due to stress.
Yeah.
The shark had eaten the arm shortly before it was caught and had very quickly stopped digesting. The wrist of the arm was tied up with a piece of rope, and on the forearm there was a crude tattoo of two boxers facing each other.
Ooh, so it's a man's arm.
It was a man's arm, yeah.
I'm just assuming that. I know we can, girls can also have tattoos, but I would have thought back then it was unlikely you'd have a sporting tattoo as a woman.
Yes,
It would have been frowned upon.
and this was very obviously a man arm.
Okay, so it's a big old fist and arm.
Yeah.
There is the hand is still there.
The hand is still there, yep.
And they know where they caught the shark. This is good. This is good information, really,
Yes.
because the area the shark, and we know it's only just eaten the arm,
Yes.
so she might be able to find it a bit easier finding the part of the body. The other part.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But the arm was sent off to forensic pathologist Dr. Palmer and Dr. Coppelson for examination. And they actually called in Sir Sidney Smith for a consultation because he was on holiday in Australia at the time.
Why though? What did they ever need a consultation about? It's an arm,
It's an arm, yes. And
and it's got a rope on it.
to be fair, Coppelson and Palmer were experts in shark bites and, shark attacks.
Yeah.
But getting the fingerprints off the hand would have been more difficult. And Sidney Smith had had experience doing that before, of getting subdermal fingerprints off of hands.
This makes so much more sense. I was thinking maybe they just called him in because they really liked him and wanted to go out for a bevy with him.
No. But he was called in for a consult. Looking at where the arm had been severed, it was obvious that the arm had been removed with a clean cut down to the bone, and then the head of the humerus had been pulled out of the scapula before the rest of the soft tissue was cut away.
Someone's chopped up a body then. Very unlikely they've just done the arm.
Someone has chopped up a body, which is conclusive proof that this was not the result of a shark attack. And there were also no bite marks on the arm, so it was most likely that the tiger shark had swallowed the arm whole.
This is imagine the size of that tiger shark. It's massive, isn't it?
It's a big, big tiger shark.
And really, it's done everyone a favour, hasn't it, here?
Yeah.
It's been a very helpful tiger shark, and they should really release it back into the wild.
They could also tell, and from the amount of blood in the arm still, that the arm had been cut off post-mortem, if that makes sense.
Yes.
A few hours probably after death.
Hasn't bled out.
Exactly. The arm didn't bleed out. But while the arm was being examined, the police were looking for the identity of the man whose arm it was.
That was this quite important detail.
Yes. But this was actually fairly easy to deduce, given the distinctive tattoo of two boxers.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, after the story appeared in a Sydney newspaper, a man named Edwin Smith came forward suggesting that the arm looked like the arm of his brother James. Edwin and James Smith's wife Gladys both formally identified the arm, and with the help of Sidney Smith, the pathologists had managed to take fingerprints subdermally from the arm, which matched those of James Smith.
Bad.
But this was handy for the police, because they knew exactly who James Smith was. They should have, at least, because James Smith was one of their informants.
And they hadn't noticed that one of their major informants has been missing. Mind you, it's not been a long time.
No, it's not been a particularly long time. James, or Jimmy Smith, had been born in England in 1890, but at some point in his youth, his family had moved to Australia. As a young man, James had been an amateur boxer, but had never been good enough to make a living by punching people in the ring. James then turned his hand to being a builder, but he wasn't skilled enough, so he turned his hand to being a handyman, but he wasn't handy enough. So James ended up working as a pool hall manager in a pub and billiards club. It was here that James began making contacts in the criminal underworld, including a man named Reginal Holmes.
They're always called Reg.
There's a lot of Regs, isn't there?
Mm.
I should mention that James wasn't an angel before this. He'd been arrested numerous times for the kind of petty thuggery that you would expect a failed boxer to be involved in, like bar fights and vandalism.
I'm sure not all failed boxers
No,
do that.
no, I don't want to tar everyone with the same brush.
No.
But it wasn't until James met Reginald Holmes that he was able to escalate his criminal endeavors. Reginald William Lloyd Holmes was a local businessman, in inverted commas, and a small town, big time criminal. What I mean by that is that,
He's a big fish in a small pond.
yeah, but he was one of the biggest fishes in a small pond. Holmes owned a legitimate boat building business, which he used to launder dirty money gained from his various criminal enterprises. Also, using speedboats, which he built, he would smuggle in contraband by having people drop floating packages of cocaine or cigarettes from boats offshore, which he would then go and pick up in his small, nimble little boats.
Okay. Right out there.
Yeah. And James had even driven some of the pickup boats for Holmes on numerous occasions for a small cut of the profits.
Mm-hmm.
Another favourite scam of Holmes was insurance fraud. Holmes would buy buildings and boats to renovate and then over-insure them and have James Smith burn them down.
Yeah. So surely after one or two, the insurance company gets a little bit suspicious.
You'd think,
Things
wouldn't you?
going on.
Yeah. Another frequent collaborator was a man named Patrick Brady. During the First World War, Patrick had discovered that he had a talent for forgery.
Mm.
He would forge officers' names on requisitions and then steal or sell the stuff himself. Holmes had Patrick forge checks on behalf of legitimate customers of his boat building business and then have James Smith cash the fraudulent checks. Or he would have Patrick forge inspection and validation documents for his boats, which he would then have James Smith burn so they could claim the insurance. This all worked jolly well for all three of them until late in 1934, when Reginald Holmes had insured a pleasure boat called Pathfinder for an obscene amount of money.
I think is there a brand now of yachts called Pathfinder?
I think there
I'm
is,
sure I've
yeah.
heard that name.
James Smith, at Holmes' instruction, stole the boat and set it on fire off the coast, sinking the vessel.
Mm.
However, James was then arrested by the police for stealing the boat and turned on his employer and became an informant for the police.
Sings like a canary.
He sang like a canary. And one repercussion of this was that Holmes was unable to collect the insurance and lost a lot of money.
Oh, he's in big trouble now.
Although for some reason he wasn't charged with insurance fraud.
Surely then we know who killed him.
Well, we're not sure. Just wait.
My money's on him.
Yeah.
Their business owner.
My money's not on him, actually.
Oh, someone else.
Yeah.
Picture is there.
James, well, yeah. My money, I think, we'll talk about it at the end, but my money is that he ordered it and someone else did it.
Okay, yeah, well, that's sensible. That sounds criminal now.
Now, James continued passing information to the police in return for immunity from his own crimes. And the police were able to use some of this information to catch a gang of bank robbers who were led by a man named Eddie Wayman, another of Reginald Holmes' associates. It's very likely that Holmes knew or at least suspected that James Smith had squealed, because after this, he didn't include James in any of his major criminal activities.
No, he's definitely suspicious of him.
Yeah.
There's only going to be a handful of people that knew what he was up to anyway.
Yep.
You keep the group that's in the know very small, I imagine.
Exactly.
But that's what I'd do if I was a criminal mastermind, which I'm neither of those things, criminal or mastermind.
You're a mastermind.
No. And I'm quite happy not to be. If it sends you mad and makes you do crazy things.
It does send you mad.
Mm.
After the shark had puked up James Smith's left arm, the police also began piecing together his last known movements.
Okay.
His wife Gladys had reported him missing after he had failed to return from what he told her was a fishing trip on the 7th of April.
Well, at least someone's missing him, like properly missing him.
Yeah, James's wife and his brother were missing him.
Yeah.
However, although he said he was going fishing, James had last been seen drinking that evening with Patrick Brady at the Cecil Hotel in Cronulla.
Okay, so he's probably this is probably an excuse he gives a lot when he says, "I'm
Yeah,
gonna go fishing," and it's a wink, wink,
I
nudge,
expect
nudge.
it
I'm
was.
doing something dodgy.
Yeah. Patrick had also rented a cottage not far away, and it was assumed, although not proven, that the two men went there after they had left, leaving the hotel bar together later that evening. The police obviously checked the cottage and found that although it was clean, when the owner went to check it after Patrick had left, a mattress and a large tin trunk were missing from the cottage. And 3 mats and some rope were missing from the boat which the owner owned, which was moored close by.
Well, the rope's an important clue.
A taxi driver picked up Patrick from the cottage the following evening, and he told police that Patrick was acting nervous and looked disheveled.
Mm.
He also appeared to be hiding something in a long coat, which was an odd thing to be wearing in Australia in April.
Yeah,
The taxi driver dropped Patrick off in North Sydney, right outside the house of Reginal Holmes.
gonna go and tell him.
Yes. Although there was nothing more than very thin circumstantial evidence, the police had a theory. Reginald Holmes had ordered Patrick Brady to kill James Smith because he'd found out that James was informing the police.
But you said he's a big time criminal, really, in a small, very small pond.
Yes.
Well, but if he'd been in London or something like that, that'd be a tiny little fish, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Why is there so much fear around him that you would do that kind of job, like be a henchman for him?
Because although he's a small fish,
Mm.
a big fish in a small pond,
Mm.
when you're smuggling in cocaine and stuff like that, you're connected to
Oh, of course,
the
yeah.
bigger fish.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, so it's
So he's probably got people above him on the criminal ladder who are genuinely scary.
yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
Could it be them that ordered it though? Did they have found out
It
that you
could be, and I think it might have been. We'll see. So, the police's theory is that Patrick took James to the cottage and murdered him. They're not sure how. Can't prove it from the arm.
No. The mattress is missing, so must have been in
That,
or around, or he could have
that's
just chopped him up on
they assume that he chopped him up or on the mattress, or at least chopped the arm off on the mattress. The trunk, the large tin trunk which was missing,
mm.
would have been large enough to fit a body in it without being chopped up.
Or maybe it was large enough to get everything except an annoying arm.
Or maybe, yes, although the arm is so identifiable. I expect the arm was taken to go back to Reggie to say, I've done this. Look, here's an arm.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you need to prove it, I suppose. No
Exactly.
phones back then. No mobile phones take a picture.
Exactly.
And why would you? Because that's evidence you don't want on your phone, I guess.
Exactly.
But they didn't have phones.
Yeah. The boat was probably pinched to go out to sea to dump the tin chest, which had the body in it, overboard somewhere. The police had
Mm.
no idea where. The missing mats from the boat might have also been bloodstained. And the rope matched the rope, although it couldn't be 100% positively matched with the rope that was tied around the wrist.
So that he's got the arm and they've disposed of that just by throwing it in and hoping the big fish will eat it,
Yes, which it did.
which it did, but they weren't expecting it to be caught and then throw it up later.
Yes.
And so it could have been the perfect crime
It could have been the perfect crime, yeah,
if it wasn't for that pesky.
if it wasn't for the shark. Now, once the arm had been taken to Reginald Holmes, it was then discarded separately into the sea, tied down with a weight on the wrist. Unfortunately, at some point under the waves, it was eaten by the tiger shark.
And that, yeah, like we said, that would have been absolutely fine if it hadn't been caught.
Yep. It would have been nice, though, to have some corroborating evidence for this theory,
Mm.
such as the rest of James Smith's body.
Yeah, it'd be great for his family as well. Because,
Yep.
although he's a criminal, he's still their loved one.
Yep, but despite a 3-week search, which included the Coast Guard, police divers, and the Air Force, there was no sign of the rest of the body. Police didn't even know where offshore Patrick Brady or Reginald Holmes might have dumped it.
I mean, it's And whether that's a red herring altogether, they could have buried it somewhere.
It's not impossible, exactly, yeah. And just the arm was disposed of at sea.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the shark,
Mm.
it was killed and dissected in case there was more body bits inside it.
It's heartbreaking, but this is the hero of this
I know, the
whole
shark is
thing
the
is the
hero of the
shark.
story, and he was killed and dissected.
It just makes you not wanna do good things for the world, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Poor shark. I mean, he's doing his best for the world.
Yeah.
He's even made himself throw up so you can see there's an arm in it.
Yep.
Mind you, is there not a clue that he was made sick by the arm, maybe? Could that be a clue? Maybe he was poisoned?
No, I doubt it.
Mm. Dang it. I tried.
Now, despite the lack of body,
Yeah.
apart from an arm, there was more than enough circumstantial evidence to bring in both Patrick Brady and Reginal Holmes for questioning.
Mm.
Reginald Holmes denied any involvement or knowledge of the crime. In fact, he denied even knowing Patrick Brady or James Smith.
Well, we know that's not true because he's informed the police.
Exactly, yes. But they had no way of proving or connecting Holmes to the murder. Brady, on the other hand, was provably the last person seen with James Smith, and he had rented the suspicious cottage in his own name. He tried to save himself by implicating Holmes. Patrick told police that he'd not been the one who killed James, but he did know that Holmes had ordered it done because James was blackmailing Holmes with details of his previous crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether the police believed this or not was inconsequential, since there was no evidence of it, other than the testimony of the man that they were about to charge with James Smith's murder.
Yeah.
However, the police were about to get some more information from a most unexpected source.
Tiger Bear.
No, it's not the tiger shark.
Mm.
4 days after Patrick Brady was charged, on the 20th of May, Reginald Holmes had some sort of mental breakdown.
Oh.
After drinking an entire bottle of gin, he took one of his speedboats out into Sydney Harbour and tried to kill himself.
Why is he depressed?
I don't know.
Perhaps they're threatening him.
Or perhaps people higher up are threatening him and his family,
Or
who
perhaps he
knows?
feels guilt over having someone killed.
But within view of watchers from the shore, Holmes put a pistol to his head and pulled the trigger.
Oh dear.
Unfortunately, either early pistols were often underpowered, or possibly Holmes just had a head as hard as Wolverine's from the X-Men, because the shot didn't kill him. It just knocked him senseless and he fell into the water.
All right.
By the time Holmes had climbed back into the boat, the harbour police were closing in to apprehend him. Holmes, though, did not want to be apprehended, so drunk and with a bleeding head wound, he led the harbour police on a 4-hour speedboat chase around Sydney Harbour before they were finally able to catch him.
I know it's quite serious, but it does sound terribly funny. You're like a drunken sailor,
Yeah.
basically, with a headache.
He is a drunken sailor with a headache. In custody, Holmes told police that he had planned to take his own life because he was afraid of what was going to happen to him.
Oh.
He claimed that Patrick Brady had been the one who planned the murder of James Smith after he learned that James was an informant. Then, after killing him in the cottage, Patrick brought the severed arm to Holmes and tried to blackmail him into stepping down as a mid-tier crime boss so that Patrick could replace him.
Oh, I think that's true. That sounds true to me.
Mm.
Because you would just leave that bit of evidence with him and say, look, you've got the arm.
Yeah.
I want to take over.
Whether the police completely believed Holmes' story or not is unclear. However, they were dramatically short of hard evidence against Brady for the murder of James Smith. And they were short one informant.
Yeah.
So they decided to allow Holmes to testify against Brady and offered him a level of immunity from his crimes.
He started informing.
If he agreed to become their new informant. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. That works out, I think. Because I think that's probably true.
Well, it seems like a win-win for everyone except Patrick Brady. Reginald Holmes gets to send a man who was possibly out to get him to jail, and he gets to continue being a mid-tier crime boss. The police get to send the man who likely killed James Smith to jail, and they get a shiny new informant who is slightly farther up the chain of crime than James had been.
Yeah, sounds pretty ideal for what's going to go wrong.
Well, yes, you've guessed it. This is not how things are going to work out.
No.
Patrick Brady's trial was set for the 12th of June. At 1:20 a.m., just hours before the trial began, Reginal Holmes was found dead in his own car parked under a railway bridge.
Oh, now.
The scene
So
was
the other bloke's still in.
Patrick Brady's still in jail. The scene was poorly staged to look like a suicide.
No, it's a shame that I'm not saying it's not a shame. It's a wrong wording altogether. But if any of this had been done with the thought that that tiny bit of evidence could turn things around, and they did things better, like they made it look like a suicide properly,
Yeah.
and not poorly made it look like a suicide, then things in this case are going to be so different. Like the
Yeah.
arm, if they'd disposed of it properly,
Absolutely.
this wouldn't have happened.
I agree. And I say poorly because although the gun which killed him was in his hand in the car, he'd been shot 3 times in the head.
Yeah. Well, you know, he did shoot himself once already. It didn't even go in his skull, baby.
I realised he has already survived shooting himself in the head once. But this was a far more powerful pistol, and a coroner confirmed that any of the shots would have been fatal.
Other than the first one, he couldn't have done.
Yeah. However, Patrick Brady's trial began in earnest later that day, but without the star witness, it was going to be a difficult conviction. All the police really had was that Patrick was the last person seen with James. To make matters worse, the court ruled that the evidence from the coroner and the pathologists about the severed arm was inadmissible.
Why?
Well, this is bonkers to me. It happened because the defense objected to the evidence under an old British statute dating back to the 1600s, the mythic concept of Corpus Delicti.
Yeah, missing the body. The
No body, no crime. Which I should point out, there was never actually a no body, no crime rule. But the myth arose from laws passed in the 1600s, which made it harder to investigate and prosecute a murder without a body. But it was never impossible. These laws were actually put in place after the famous Camden Wonder case.
Camden Wonder?
You know that one in 1660?
No.
2 men and a woman, I can't remember their names, were hanged for the murder of William Harrison. Then 2 years later, William Harrison turned up, getting off of a ship which had come from Lisbon, and it turned out that he'd been kidnapped by slave traders who took him to Turkey and sold him into slavery in the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, you couldn't even make that up.
No, exactly.
That's an incredible story.
Brilliant.
I wonder how long it took for him to, explain where he's been.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah, no. After 2 years of slavery, the man who owned him had died, and he'd run away and made his way back to England via Lisbon.
That's incredible.
It's incredible, yeah, but also 3 people were executed.
Oh, what an incredible story from that. Did he ever write his book?
William Harrison, I don't know. I've read about the case, but anyway.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault at all.
Put to death because of it. It's not his fault at all. He's been
It's not his
out
fault
of
at
the
all.
country doing other things, being made to do other things.
But the interesting and very specific interpretation of the no body, no crime rules in this case was that a coroner only had jurisdiction to hold an inquest into a murder if there was sufficient proof that one had occurred.
Yes. Yeah.
The defense argued that just one severed arm did not constitute sufficient proof. And therefore, the coroner had no jurisdiction to carry out an inquest in the first place, and any evidence of the inquest was inadmissible.
But because they've had this done, I suppose the argument is it shouldn't have been done at all.
That's their argument, yeah.
That's the argument. So none of the evidence that came in after it gets done can come in. But because they've had it done, we know that arm has been removed after that person is dead.
Post-mortem, exactly.
So that is the proof ironically, that it needed to be done.
Yes, I know.
So
It's
yes,
very
so
ironic.
the argument's a great one from the defense, isn't it? Because if they can get
It's
that
novel.
through, that's not going to come in.
Yeah, and it doesn't come in.
Oh,
Nothing.
that worked. So the
Nothing.
judge agreed.
Judge agreed. Nothing from the pathologist came in. Nothing from the coroner came in.
And then we have no proof that they're dead, really.
Exactly.
Either, have we? We have nothing because the
Exactly.
only thing we've really got is that arm was cut off after death. And if
Yes.
that can't come in,
And
he's
after
going to get away
this,
with this then.
he does.
Hmm.
After this second blow, the prosecution had very little to fall back on. And during the second day of trial, the charges against Patrick Brady were dropped because the prosecution were unable to meet the burden of proof.
Oh, I bet it's heartbreaking for everybody to put in so much work.
Yeah. Now,
And for
before
his
we
family, obviously.
before we talk about what we think the truth might be in this weird case, there is one more, at least, suspicious thing that happened years later. If there was one person, other than Patrick Brady,
Mm.
who would have known the truth, then that person would have been the wife of Reginald Holmes.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. She stayed silent for years. She said, afraid of what might happen to her if she talked to the police. But in the late 1950s, she decided to speak out.
So, what made her change her mind about coming forward after all that time there?
It had been 20 years. She was now an old woman.
Mm.
She was in her mid 40s, I think, in 1935 when it happened. Now she would be in her mid to late 60s.
Yeah,
She just decided,
I'm going to tell the truth,
I'm going to tell the truth.
or her version of it.
Yes. And she was going to give a statement to the police about what she knew.
Mm.
However, the day before she was supposed to do this, she died in a mysterious house fire.
Who knew that she was going to go to the police? Other than the police, or did she tell the police that she was coming for an
Patrick
appointment?
Brady would have known
How would Patrick have known?
because she was still in contact with Brady's wife, for one thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the police knew.
And the police knew.
So you can't discount the fact there might have been a dodgy policeman there.
I definitely don't discount that.
Oh, okay.
I even think it might be likely.
Yeah.
So, what do we think happened? There's a lot to unpack and consider. So let's start with what I think is solid ground, although I am going to throw a slight curveball in a second. Who do we think killed James Smith?
I think it was the man that got away with it.
Patrick Brady.
Yeah, and I do believe Reggie's story. However, why would the wife need to tell the truth about what she knew if Reg had told the truth?
It's also
Is
true.
my second question.
Yes.
So, yes, I don't think he ordered it, but I do believe it's a terrible pun, but his arm was twisted into keeping
Yeah.
slim about it until he had no other option than to tell the
Yeah.
truth. So I believe his truth was the truth. But then if his truth was the truth, then why did his wife 20 years later have to come forward and tell the truth?
Yes. I agree.
Yeah. The messy one.
But I do think it was Patrick Brady.
Mm.
The only problem I have with the theory
Mm.
is that years later, Patrick Brady's wife also spoke out. In her case, to a legal historian named Alex Castles. And she
Mm.
presented a possible third suspect.
And right, is Patrick still alive at this point when she's talking to the
Yes.
historian? So why is he not speaking to the historian?
He was in prison, I think, at this point.
Right.
For fraud rather than for
Yeah.
murder.
Mm.
But his wife told Alex Castles that Patrick's job that night was just to rent the cottage and to bring James there. The actual murderer, she claimed, was Eddie Wayman, the bank robber who had been arrested after James passed on information to the police.
Ooh.
She also claimed that Eddie Wayman had been the one who killed Reginal Holmes before the trial.
To stop him telling the truth?
To stop him telling the truth and to stop him informing the police if the police there was anyone dodgy inside the police, they would have instantly known that Reginald had become a new informant.
No, okay, but let's think this through then. So, but Reg had already said that it was definitely Patrick that did it,
Yes,
and that he was framing him for it.
yes,
So why would he make up that story if that's not true?
I agree. But that's my only problem with the theory. I'm not sure that Patrick's wife was telling the truth. I
I
do
don't
think,
think she was telling the truth
I
at
do
all.
think Patrick Brady was the one who killed James Smith.
But it could have been on the orders of the bank robber. It could be that
It
he's
could be.
further up
It could be
the
that he's
chain.
further up, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a very messy story, that one, isn't it?
It
Very
is.
messy.
So next, who do we think planned or ordered the killing of James Smith?
I think, well, originally, I believed Reggie's story that it was Patrick, but because he wanted to be, I could just imagine it happening. If you've got feelings of grandeur and you want to be better than everybody else and you want to get ahead very quickly, then yeah, I can understand that he might just try and frame Reg just to get in his position, to step into his boots, if you like, to
Yeah,
take over. And that's the first rung of the ladder, kind of.
yeah,
I can understand. Yeah, that felt right to me.
yeah, I know what you mean.
But also, it could have been someone much further up, or it could have been someone that's worried about their job. Maybe he's found out something about what's going on in the police force, something's a bit dodgy, and they think he might tell the wrong person.
Yeah,
I mean, there is all that,
yeah.
I
I
suppose.
can see the order coming from Reginald Holmes to Patrick Brady to do it. However, I suspect Holmes would have had no choice.
Mm.
Holmes was, as I said at the start, a mid-tier criminal at best, and I expect the order to kill James had came from someone above him because James was an informant. But the story that Holmes told
Mm.
just rings so true,
It just
doesn't
feels
it?
right. Yeah, it does. It just
It's
feels right.
so plausible.
And it's also because you can't imagine somebody who thinks themselves as a big fish to then admit that somebody was holding really him to ransom over something
Yes.
and he kept us quiet about it. There's something quite, I don't know, shameful almost about it. I mean, it's not his fault at all, but I can imagine someone in that criminal realm would feel ashamed to tell the police
Yep.
that somebody had gotten, one up on him
Yeah.
from it's just such a weird thing as well. It's a weird thing to make up. Somebody's just gonna turn up on an arm at your house. But that, like you said, it's also if he was asked to kill him, bring the arm back as proof is also a believable story.
Yes. It's not unbelievable.
So both are true, but I think it's an escalation.
An arm is a lot to bring back as proof.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, asking
people,
asking for an arm
yeah,
to be brought is asking the person that you want to kill someone to take a big risk of being found out afterwards.
yeah, that's true. It's almost like
You know what I
something
mean?
you'd want to do.
Get his wallet, get his
Mm.
passport, get something he wouldn't want to part with. But a whole arm at the shoulder,
Yeah, or even something smaller. I mean,
a
I
finger, a thumb.
Yeah, but finger of plum, it means it's only sort of like it's one of the things the mafia used to do,
Yeah, you
but
can cut off a
apparently,
finger and
yeah,
be
as
fine.
as a threat really. But what about, a nose or something very small?
Yep.
Well, I know it's gross. This is all really gross. It's a gross conversation to have, but yeah, yes, I understand that it's probably an awkward ask for someone to bring that back to
Yeah.
someone's house. Yeah, it's less believable than Reggie's story. I think Reggie's story rings true to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree.
I don't. Oh, it's such a tough one, like, because 'cause you're never gonna know, and it would have been wrong for him to go to prison, I think, for that murder without more evidence.
Yeah.
Oh, and I really do feel he did do it, whoever told him to do it, but to put him in prison for it just in case is
Harsh.
yeah, and well, not harsh, but it's a risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk.
Finally, who ordered the hit on Reginald Holmes before Patrick Brady's trial?
Well, we cannot say that it wasn't Patrick.
Nope. It could have been Patrick.
because even behind bars, he can get messages out to people.
Yep.
It could have been a police officer if there was a dodgy police officer, maybe. Or it could have been them themselves, I suppose, who's better off at getting away with these things than that.
Yeah.
Could be a rival drug smuggler. It could have been the family of the dead man
Yeah.
or the
It's
brother.
very suspicious timing.
Mm.
Um,
Could have been his wife.
I don't think it was his wife. I don't. I do have one last curveball though
Mm.
for us to think about, and again, it actually comes from Reginald Holmes' wife before she was burned in that fire. She claimed years later that the man who ordered the death of Reginald Holmes
Mm.
was in fact Reginald Holmes.
Because he couldn't do it himself.
She said that the people above her husband were threatening him and his family, which is why he tried to kill himself in the speedboat. And to protect her and his children, she believes that on the night of his death, he took £500 out of his bank account, which is provable,
Mm.
to pay for a hit on himself.
Ooh, Alec Murdoch. Yes. 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 In fact, I think she's telling the truth now. I've changed my mind.
Isn't that interesting?
I've changed my mind. I think she's telling the truth. And he was frightened of people much higher up. And then found out the other one was telling the police
Mm.
things. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. Ah, it's annoying. I thought I had it all figured out. Reggie, why did you lie? Why did Reggie lie to begin with? Just to keep them happy, I
Probably,
suppose.
yeah, to keep them happy. He's more scared of the people above him than anyone else. More scared of them than life in prison. More scared of them than the police.
And his workman,
Yeah.
his footman. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah. I kind of believe her then. Right, remind me, what did the other one's wife say, Patrick's wife?
Patrick's wife said that James Smith and Reginald Holmes were both killed by Eddie Wayman, a bank robber who had been put in jail because of James Smith informing.
Mm, but he's in prison at the time that she's speaking to someone. There's a chance he might have told her, please say something about this
Yep.
man who may or may not be in prison with him.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't even moved out or something happened to him or his reputation ruined. Who knows? There might be other beef
Yeah.
there to make. Oh, well, it's an interesting lot of questions you've got there.
Yes.
What did you think then? So you thought it's from higher up.
I thought it was from higher up and that Reginald Holmes was afraid of the people above him who were much more scary than him.
Mm,
Reginald Holmes was a mid-tier criminal in a small pond.
very small.
Um,
Yeah.
but he did not have a history
Violent.
of violence. He had a history of, insurance fraud and smuggling, and he did know bank robbers,
Mm.
but he himself had no history of violent crime.
Yeah. I think the only thing that doesn't quite sit with things, and that it's only a very, very small thing, is that he was shot 3 times in the head, which seems like overkill,
Yes.
especially because once would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hiring a hit, normally they just get it right first time. Doesn't mean
Yes.
it doesn't happen, that they just make sure, sure, sure.
The thing that doesn't sit quite right with me
Mm.
about the Reginald Holmes ordered a hit on himself theory, because I think it's eminently plausible,
Mm.
but why leave the gun that killed him in his hand in the car? No one's really going to believe it's a suicide. He's shot 3 times in the head.
Well, make it look
But
like
why
it
make
because
it
he's
look
got
like a
hurt.
suicide at all?
Maybe because maybe he didn't want people to ask questions and that was hoping it would,
Mm,
maybe they were hoping it would look like a suicide so people wouldn't ask questions. Maybe he was hoping it looked like a suicide so it wouldn't, I'd say wouldn't upset his wife so much. It was upsetting regardless whether he killed himself or whether someone else did it.
yeah,
It's gonna devastate her regardless, isn't it?
yeah.
But what you're getting from his wife as well, because he wouldn't have said that to her, "I'm going to hire a hit on
No,
myself," because she would have stopped it. you're still getting second-hand information from her too.
Yes.
So I think we can put, and I don't mean in a disrespectful way, she obviously knows a lot more than we do. I just think we could put that, slightly further back on the list of evidence we have,
Mhm.
because I don't it's hearsay. What she's saying is hearsay. It might
Yeah.
be things she's learnt over time from other people, but it is hearsay. Yes, £500 came out of his account, but that could also be to pay off people he's upset, and it just wasn't enough to pay him off.
Yeah.
That could have happened too.
It was. Yeah. Quite possible.
Whoa.
Lots of things are possible. It's interesting, isn't it?
It's a very interesting case, yeah.
So
Very
please, everyone,
interesting.
let us know what
What you think?
you think.
But what is the likelihood or the most likely option?
Yeah.
For you guys? Yeah, let us know. I'm interested to know what everyone thinks about that.
Yep.
Whether we've got it completely wrong.
Yeah.
Anyone else got a different theory altogether?
Yeah. Please message us.
Did the shark do it and the forensic pathologist got everything wrong?
Yeah. Because I
Chomped
find
off
this
his
one
arm.
fascinating. It's just so whoa.
But it was, everything was for the grace of God there, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
so weird that chain of events with this little shark and big shark.
Yeah.
These are all things you don't think you can make up.
I know, like the Russian doll of sharks.
Yeah, I still have questions. I think it would have made sense to me if someone was poisoning rats and poisoning people.
Yeah. It would have been easier
That's
to.
what I thought of to begin with. And that second case you told us about in the middle there,
Yeah.
what was it called?
Oh, the Camden Wonder case.
I'm wondering, I'm gonna go see if there's any documentaries about that. How
16,
fascinating.
1660, the murder of William Harrison. Well, the not murder of William Harrison.
Yeah. How interesting though. But yeah, there needs to be more proof there's been a murder. I mean, it's very upsetting. But I
Yes.
mean, but the levels of proof are different, aren't they? They're different
Yeah.
now
They're
than they were
completely different
then.
now. But even then, no body, no crime was never a thing.
Mm.
It was just you had to prove that there had been a murder.
Yeah.
And
You need an
a
evidence in
body was
some
the
way.
easiest way of doing that. Without a body, it was much harder.
Yeah. But lots of blood.
Yeah.
You're not hearing from anyone for months and months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it took years and years for something like this to go through, didn't
Yeah.
it? But I guess in that case, if you're not even in the country,
Yeah.
because you've been taken away, oh.
Taken away and sold to Turkish slavers.
And how come they thought those people had done it? Did you look into that case?
I have looked into that case a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you right now.
Are we going to tell it to me another
I'll
time?
tell it to you another time. I will do the Camden Wonder case. Not just
Excellent.
because I think it deserves a full episode to itself, but also we're at almost an hour.
Okay. Lovely. We'll do it on sometime.
We do it on sometimes. So no Scottish word of the week this week because I didn't prepare one.
Now that's okay. But we have got a lovely word that everyone can use if they want to get 10% off Crime Along tickets.
We do.
That was smooth, wasn't it?
That was one of the smoothest transitions we've ever done, baby. Proud of you.
Yeah. Yes, if you'd like to 10% off your Crime Con for London
That's
on
right.
the 3rd and 4th of October, use the code HOOK.
Yeah, we will be there. We will be propping up the bar as we always are.
Yes, we'll be there. We'll be having a well of a time.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Like the white whale you called me last week.
I didn't call you the white whale. I called you my white whale. We've been through this, and I actually, when I did the editing, I flashed up the definition of white whale on the screen just so that everybody and me were on the same page.
Well, you can come and tell me at CrimeCon London whether you're on Sarah's side or Ali's side. Anyway, thank you so much for telling me a story.
You're welcome. You're always welcome. And thank you all for listening if you made it all the way to the end. And we very much hope to see you next crime. Bye!
Oh, I've got to move. It's too hot. Maybe. Too
It's
hot.
Rev Roasting.
Yeah.